Well, Chinese leader Xi Jinping seems to be under tremendous stress. He isn't doing that well. A week ago, rumors surfaced that he lost his vice chairman of the CMC, and these reports are now being confirmed by more independent sources. This must have taken a toll on him. Yesterday, he emerged with a head full of white hair. To stay relevant, Xi Jinping is considering making a political move by rehabilitating his longtime enemy, the ruthless Bo Xilai. Last but not least, the real political struggle behind Hong Kong tycoon Li Ka-shing's sale of 43 ports to BlackRock runs far deeper than what Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal have reported. And the real reason why Xi Jinping is furious is that Li and his company have aligned with the anti-Xi forces. Okay, so the above is a quick highlight of what we'll discuss tonight. I hope you're okay with that. Without further ado, let's get started. On the left is an image taken from the video in Lijiang. The image in the center was taken from the two sessions that concluded 2 weeks ago. Look at his hair. It was only a matter of a few days. It was not even a week. His hair went from the picture in the center to one on the left. And then the image on the right was taken from August last year. People are wondering what has contributed to his hair suddenly turning white. Well, the medical explanation is extreme stress, right? So medical research suggests that extreme stress can trigger one's sympathetic nerve system to release a hormone that accelerates hair whitening. And under prolonged stress, hair can turn gray or white at an unusually rapid speed, sometimes even overnight. And it's a phenomenon referred to as the Marie Antoinette syndrome. So whether the drastic change is the result of extreme political pressure, a medical condition, or maybe simply he doesn't care about his image anymore, no matter what it is, one thing is clear. That is, Xi Jinping is undergoing an unprecedented level of strain. So now let's talk about Hong Kong billionaire Li Ka-shing's selling of his Panama Canal port assets and other holdings to an American consortium led by BlackRock. The CCP-controlled media outlet in Hong Kong launched a series of attacks against Li and his company. According to Professor Yuan Hongbin, the CCP attempted to intervene in the transaction through state-owned enterprises, but Li ignored Beijing's demands, and Li Ka-shing's decision was backed by a group of powerful princeling or CCP families who are unhappy with Xi Jinping. So under pressure from the Trump administration, Li's conglomerate, CK Hutchison, announced on March 4th that it would sell 43 ports across 23 countries to a BlackRock-led consortium while retaining its ports in mainland China and Hong Kong. CCP did not respond to this for 10 days until March the 13th, when the CCP-controlled Da Gongbao published 3 consecutive articles on the 13th, 15th, and 17th, accusing Li of betraying China and selling out national interests. The Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the Chinese State Council even reposted the criticism on its official website. Additionally, on March 17th and 18th, former and current Hong Kong chief executives criticized CK Hutchison. Professor Yuan Hongbin revealed that the CCP's intelligence operations had learned of Hutchison's plan to sell its overseas port assets. Beijing then attempted to pressure Li into selling these assets to China's SOEs. Professor Yuan said, the CCP told Li Ka-shing, if you want to sell, you must sell to state-owned enterprises. However, Li decided to sell to an American company. According to Professor Yuan, Li's decision to sell to an American enterprise was not solely his own. It was influenced by a network of elite CCP families who opposed Xi Jinping. Yuan Hongbin explained that for Li Ka-shing personally, selling to either a CCP-owned company or SOE or an American company made little difference. However, the real reason behind the decision was that many of these elite CCP families from the Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao eras, who once held positions as Central Committee members, some of them are retired senior officials, they wanted the assets to be sold to the U.S., to an American company. Now, Li acquired these ports back in the days during Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao's time. And it was said that even though on the record his company owns these ports, but many of these CCP elite families have a share, have a financial interest in these ports as well. So they're all in this with Li Ka-shing. Now, these powerful elites fear an intense U.S. China confrontation under Trump's second term. And they believe that Xi Jinping's government is heading toward an irreversible crisis with the United States. So Professor Yuan said these CCP elites are deeply concerned that if war breaks out over Taiwan, the U.S. will impose devastating economic sanctions on China, similar to the Western sanctions on Russia. If that happens, U.S. authorities could seize assets belonging to CCP officials and their families overseas. They fear this scenario, so they want Li Ka-shing to sell his port holdings to an American company as a gesture of goodwill to Trump. The implicit message is if Xi Jinping triggers a U.S. China war, we're actually not on his side. We support the U.S., so please do not seize our assets. It shows that Xi Jinping is really mad. But his fury is not coming from selling the ports to Americans. It's the political forces behind Hutchison that infuriated Xi. That probably explains why Beijing remained quiet for 10 days on the transaction. Now, Professor Yuan Hongbin also reviewed that one of Xi Jinping's foremost political enemy is launching a comeback as Xi may need his help. According to Yuan Hongbin, recent political whispers in Beijing claim that Bo Xilai, who has been imprisoned for the past 12 years, submitted an appeal to the Supreme People's Court ahead of the 2025 two sessions. Bo has been locked up for 12 years, serving a life sentence for bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. His wife is also locked up for a suspended death sentence for murdering her lover and the British businessman Neil Haywood. Bo is reportedly arguing that his case was a fabricated political persecution and that he was deliberately framed by others. And in his appeal, he demands a full reversal of his conviction and official exoneration. The same whisper suggests that despite being 76 years old now, Bo Xilai has remained a disciplined lifestyle in prison, constantly exercising and reading, and is in good health. So let's talk about who Bo Xilai is. Now, he is a notorious leftist. During his tenure as the Chongqing Party secretary, he launched a political campaign that attacked Deng Xiaoping's reform policies and revived the Maoist-era revolutionary culture. Premier Wen Jiabao once publicly called Bo Xilai a remnant of the Cultural Revolution. Lately, like I mentioned, his son, Bo Guagua, has been actively defending his parents, even at his wedding. So according to Professor Yuan, the person pushing for Bo Xilai's rehabilitation is no other than Xi Jinping's diehard loyalist, Cai Qi. So Cai Qi's idea is to use Bo Xilai, a diehard leftist, to counter the reformists led by Wen Jiabao, who is one of the three reformists born in the year 1942 who are said to be in charge of the party. Now, if Bo Xilai were truly reinstated and released, it will revive the Maoist leftist ideology to a new height in China. A former classmate of Bo Xilai described him as extremely ambitious and is dead focused on being CCP's top leader. And the classmate said, the man has no regard for others, not even his families, and is capable of doing anything bad. Bo Xilai displayed a ruthless personality even during his younger years and developed a habit of stealing. He personally assaulted his father, Bo Yibo, during the Cultural Revolution, delivering a series of punches that caused his father to black out and collapse. Not stopping there, he stomped on his father's chest, breaking 3 of his ribs. That just shows you how ruthless this man can be. Bo Xilai's domineering style was noted by Westerners. American media commentary noted that during his tenure as China's Minister of Commerce, very few of his American counterparts had a favorable impression of him, as they found him to be arrogant, blunt, and abrasive. Bo's overbearing nature earned him the reputation of Little Mao Zedong. So if Xi Jinping is considering exonerating this man from a life sentence and create a political alliance with him, it only shows one thing and one thing only. That is, Xi Jinping is completely desperate and helpless. No one is helping him, right? And if Bo is released from jail, I don't think Xi Jinping will last long. I think Bo Xilai will be eventually locked up again, but this time he will take Xi Jinping with him. During their childhood, it was said that Xi Jinping was frequently bullied by Bo Xilai, who is 4 years older than him. And Xi Jinping was allegedly forced to let Bo Xilai ride on his back like a horse, which might have left a psychological scar on Xi Jinping. So let's hope Xi Jinping's childhood memory still has an impact on him, and that he hasn't completely lost his sense to bring back this this monster